The episode you're about to hear is authorised by me, Kate Hulett, at 106 High Street Mall, Fremantle. Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton have far more in common than I have with Peter Dutton. It really should be a photo of both of those guys doing their deals.
Hello. Hi, everyone. This is A Piece of Kate. I'm Emma Pegram.
And I'm Kate Hulett.
Final episode.
Technically, final episode. And it's the 25th episode, our 25th anniversary.
Amazing.
And we're back where we started.
What's 25?
Probably diamonds.
I've already got one of those.
My throat just closed up.
I can't believe I've actually managed to do this every day for
Same.
5 weeks.
If anything was going to send you insane, a campaign would, and then just layer on a daily podcast. And
Funny.
I don't know what time it is now, but I know it's beyond 9 p.m.
Yeah, so what? It's Thursday evening. Yeah, it's after 9 p.m. And
Thursday,
it's been a
the 1st of
crazy
May.
day.
If you're out there.
It's been a crazy day.
A really mental day. And it's been, it feels like things that we probably thought might have happened
Weeks ago.
during the campaign have all happened today in many layers and reasons.
Yeah.
I almost want to start with this just because it's in front of me.
Okay, you want to get that
distracting
out of the way.
me. Okay, so I didn't bring my scissors up. I've just picked something up. Hours ago, I picked something up from the airport. And that's when I bumped into John Butler, who was also posting something in the airport. He's going away to start his tour tomorrow. I'm opening an A4-sized envelope if you are not watching this. This is the sound of an envelope.
Great sounds for the people.
Okay. I don't know why I feel nervous, because I know what it is, and it's not...
It's a letter from your besties.
But I want a special golden stamp or something. Oh, there it is. It's debossed. Okay, ready? Declaration of renunciation. Signed and sealed. Formal evidence of renunciation of the nationality. Oh. It's got a special 2 stamps, two real wet signatures.
We're back here. Back
For
where it
the
all
Secretary
started.
of State for the Home Department.
Can I see?
Emma, look, touch.
Oh, wow. It is a really beautiful deboss.
It feels very
That's
British, doesn't
gorge.
it? Quite
Totally.
oversized.
Home Office
Dramatic.
registered.
Okay, so huge news is the official renunciation has arrived. And can people stop going in my comments and saying, doesn't she have to be deported? Because grow up.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean,
Get real,
or
dog.
catch up, you know? Someone emailed today saying, I've just got a question about something or other. And they closed the email by saying, I'm really sorry, I haven't had a time to listen to all of your podcasts. So if you have talked about this on the podcast, I do apologise. And I was like, so polite.
Most people can't even be bothered looking at the next post. You know what I mean?
know, it was
to
like
even consider
they
that.
were a star student who was just, apologising that they hadn't done all of their homework. It was very cute.
I'm going to hold this the whole episode.
Okay.
Like this.
Oh, you can't hold it up in front of your great
why?
T-shirt.
Second prop. That's my chair, not my bum. I got lent a T-shirt. It's so cool. It says Western Australia, state of excitement. I mean, is that irony or what? Just joking, it is exciting.
Not today. It's very fitting for
It's
today.
a beautiful vintage top that Cowboy Karaoke Girls messaged me and said, we reckon that you could borrow it because it's like our shop mascot and it's something that we don't sell. Anyway, so I'm wearing it especially tonight.
Cowboy Karaoke being a great
An awesome
second-hand shop.
Yeah,
in
vintage
Fremantle.
shop, Cantonment Street, next
Love.
to our darlings.
This is
the
not
best
sponsored.
wishes.
I mean,
No.
apart from the T-shirt.
Yeah. Anyway, they've got fantastic vintage for kids as well. I mean, like would be the best in WA. So
know.
definitely go there if you've got kids that need to look extra cool.
Oh
gosh!
Okay,
now we've got
we've
those
sufficiently beaten
major
around the bush.
Yeah, exactly.
Should we talk about the crazy thing that happened today?
I mean, which bit? So many.
Well-
The 11 a.m. meeting.
No, I forgot about that. But no, I mean, I reckon we start
Let's start from the end.
Let's
go backwards.
Let's start from the scare campaign that has now commenced.
Which
one day before the election.
The LABOR one?
Yeah,
okay.
Correct.
I have finally hit the big time. I'm officially in meme format, like bad meme, mean bad girl, naughty.
A mean meme.
It's like...
I don't think it's a meme. I've got to...
Well, it's like shareable. That's what it means.
Yeah.
All right. It's a poster with my face. Kind of look like I've been rubbed in dirt.
Yeah, big time.
And my hair's... I mean, that's how my hair looks normally, a bit dragged through a bush, but I look particularly grubby. It's two-tone. Black and white, is it?
No, it's in colour.
I don't have my
Who
phone,
else is in there?
Okay, it's me and Mr. Dunn. And it says something along the lines of, because I can't remember, a vote for Hulett is a vote for Dutton. I mean...
It's so good.
I've kind of been waiting for it.
Yeah.
At some point, some sort of poster of this description. I mean, who knows which direction, because I've been called from an anarchist, greener than green, liberal light, conservative. Now, I mean, I've the whole spectrum I've been accused of being, which is quite a feat.
Indeed. Yeah, you know you're doing something right when
everyone hates you.
when everybody's scared of you. How do we get here? How do we get to you being on a poster with Peter Dunn? Or in a scare ad? Let's call it what it is. It's a scare ad.
Yeah, and as the scare ad is being run.
Oh, and we should say
as an ad by Labor on social media.
Correct.
And you might see it looks like something any pathetic political party would put together to annihilate a competitor.
Yeah, to be honest, you might kind of just scroll straight past it because you've seen a million of these scare campaign things, and
you can't tell if it's Liberal, Labor, or Advance, or Australia's Prosperity, or whatever the flippin' weird names are.
So how do we get here?
Tuesday night, I would say. Tuesday night was fight night in South Fremantle. It was the annual, although I've done 2 this year, Politics in the Pub candidate special. I mean, I did one for the state election, and I said, I'll be the candidate. I'm not doing any friggin' politics in the pub or any debates. But because I'm such a massive, pathetic pushover.
People pleaser.
Yeah, no, I had to do it as a candidate. And then, of course, you run twice, you've got to do the flipping thing twice. So, yep, we'll do the federal one. But the big bummeroo of it was that the Liberal dude didn't go, Labor didn't go, One Nation didn't go. So none of the major parties and the most right-wing party didn't bother to participate. So therefore it was kind of the more, I guess, similarly minded, broadly, minor parties and independent, me, at Politics in the Pub. And so we kind of, it was repositioned as why should someone give you their number one vote? Which I was unhappy about that premise because I don't really care about those parties. I care about the 2 parties who have had the most votes in Fremantle for the past 94 years, and that's Liberal and Labor. So my interest isn't scrapping around in the dirt with the minor parties. My interest is battling the Goliaths that have got their little fingernails into our country and they won't loosen their grip. So I had a problem with the premise, and I tried to maintain that kind of position of let's not fight between ourselves, because that's a huge distraction from the point of what we want to do, which is break up the 2-party system and try and, make politics better for all of us and for the greater good and so on and so forth. Didn't really play out that way, I would say.
I mean, I think it did in the sense that you put forward your views very clearly, and I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but, Yeah.
I mean, it's not a cool environment. And there was probably 100 or so people there that were mainly from one of the major political parties, one of the 3 major political parties. And they were kind of panting and gasping, and there was drool coming out of their mouths. Sorry. Anyway, so we got through those 2 hours. But of course, one of the questions was, who are you back in a hung parliament? And as per previous correspondence, the point of an independent is not to align yourselves with any party, to remain independent and proceed with decisions on behalf of your community where their best interests at heart. And that's why we don't do preferences, because we don't want to align ourselves. We allow people to make their own decisions. And, in the instance of a hung parliament, we want to enter a negotiation in the strongest possible position and walk in with an independent point of view and see what people have to negotiate with, what they have to offer. And there's some really big things we care about, like the North West Shelf extension, which is currently on Tanya Plibersek's desk. That sounded like I said her name wrong, but I'm not going to say it again.
It's 9 p.m. or whatever.
I'm starting to draw my words out. And, the terrible deal with Donald Trump for AUKUS, and, there's a number of things which are really critical to Fremantle and Western Australia and the world that we would love to use as opportunities to negotiate. And so, of course, you don't go into a negotiation saying who you're going to side with at the outset. So my position is to remain independent and, put Fremantle in the strongest position. But of course, day by day, the polls are showing that the thing that we actually should be worried about is the fact that it's looking like Labor's going to kind of romp in with a majority. And we should be really worried about that, because that means another 3 years of their inaction and tinkering and posturing and actually just doing deals with the Liberals behind closed doors, which we've seen multiple times already in our own, very short political experience. So while the 3rd major political party were kind of trying to wedge us and go, they just say you're not going to deal with them or them, and make us kind of position ourselves as righteous, just like them. I try to remain neutral, and of course then that information goes to a kind of shitpost site who's, taken to shitposting about me previously, whoever they are. I like when people do that under an anonymous name. It's very brave of them. And then that has then been fed to Labor Party, and then the full circle has occurred where now we're a Labor ad. Anything to add? What have I missed? What steps have I missed?
I think that's all the steps. I think what's funny to point out is the fact that amidst all of that, you're simultaneously, just the variety of angles.
I know. It's hard to...
it's actually impossible to summarise.
And it is we just got off a phone call with a lot of our election day volunteers and a briefing evening, and we were trying to describe it and struggling. But it's interesting when every single angle is attacking you, and kind of for the same or the opposite viewpoint on the same incident.
I want you to talk about the photo that they've used in the ad, which I think is extremely relevant.
Have they put dirt on my face? Like, have they tried to make me look like I've been...
there's an overlay.
Yeah. Looks like I've been rubbing...
It's like some kind of cracking, like, dirt or something.
Yeah, I like that they've used my first name in the byline
that
as well.
Funny. Yeah.
Kate has refused.
first name basis with the Labor Party. But the photo that they've chosen for this ad
so it
is
was from
particularly, I think,
It was from a
revealing.
press conference we did in the state campaign where it was about, I think we were talking about the gas, North West Shelf, something like that. And
I think you were talking about the dirty preference deal that the major parties did. And that's why
I
they were
can't
asking
remember. I mean, I feel like I was
about
doing
policy.
a preference? I was doing a press conference twice a day at one point. Yes, so we were talking about how the Liberal and Labor Party had got together and agreed to preference each other above me in order that they would kind of maintain power in Fremantle. So journalist took us off road from the conversation we were having, and she suggested, why would the Liberals preference you? Because what possible policies do you have in common, or, name one thing that you're aligned on. And Labor have used that particular photo from that particular article, which was effectively saying I was greener than green and anarchist and all these sorts of extreme climate warrior style language. And then the Labor are using it to say that I'm so likely to back Dutton that you can't trust me. I mean, it's comedic because
It is comedic.
it's so lame, and it's just like the pathetic, desperate grip onto this seat. I mean, it's also really incredibly reassuring and buoying because why would they bother making the ad and running it and putting money behind it if they didn't think I had a chance? And if they hadn't heard from their supporters that they were voting for me instead of Labor. So great. They're scared. I mean, you would never bother spending $1 on an ad if you thought, you had nothing to worry about. We know, and we've spoken about it at length, that Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton have far more in common than I have with Peter Dutton. It really should be a photo of both of those guys doing their deals. It's back onto what we talked about with Richard Dennis the other day about how they literally go in rooms and make deals about the things they're going to fight about or the things they're going to work with each other on. So, I mean, maybe we should make a retort at a vote for Anthony Albanese is a vote for Peter Dutton, and then we'll just sub my face out. Let's do it. Yeah.
I mean, you have to say that it's, it's like a disservice to to the Labor voter, really, to run that kind of scare campaign when, I think most people who engage with you and look at what you care about would kind of understand that that's a pretty bold, at best, comparison to draw.
Yeah.
And
you're absolutely relying on the fact that the person would not spend 1 second looking into me or what I stand for.
I mean, there are people on Facebook saying that you're... I mean, one of the comments that I read, someone sent me maybe this morning was like, Kate Hulett's a bit more oysters and champagne at some bar than she is politics in the pub or something or other, which is of course hilarious because you were actually at the pub and the Liberal candidate wasn't. But she was trying to point out that you're a Liberal light. I'm assuming she was a Labor supporter, and then at various points you've been called by Liberal people a Trojan horse for the Greens, and then the Greens are saying that you're a problematic centrist. I mean, it's like it's just gold. And what it is the result of running a campaign that is like generating enormous support from across a huge spectrum of the community because you're good at connecting with people and want to talk to them on a human level.
What really struck me from politics in the pub was how willing the other candidates were to completely discount enormous parts of the community entirely, and like to the point that it was like it's preferable for us not to talk to people than to win. And I thought that's interesting because then why don't you go and do anything else with your time that could be much more productive and helpful? Because you sitting here is literally wasting everyone's time in this room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just interesting, isn't it?
It is curious. Yeah.
Like, literally do anything else. Go and plant some trees.
Well, I mean, I think the point that you were making and that you have made and that you've consistently talked about is that we're not going to get long-term change and we're not going to be able to beat the major parties if we don't start, like...
Talking to human beings who live in the same place that we live in.
Yeah. And
who have the same concerns and dreams and hopes and, worries that we all do. They might just use different words for them. It's really, it's incredibly short-sighted, and it's an entire missing of the bigger picture, which is the goodness of humanity and the longevity of our planet. I think. You might as well just shoot yourself in both feet and then clap on the floor. You would be more useful.
I mean, also, I reckon we've got to talk about the real focus here, which all of this for me today culminated in the fact that the new MRP YouGov poll landed today, which, showed that Labor's on track to have an 86-seat majority in the House of Reps, which, of course, would be a bigger majority than they currently have. Mm-hmm. So that would be in the event that poll is realised, which, polls are always whatever.
We know polls are wishy-washy.
But in the event that happened, it would be the electorate saying, Labor's been great. We just love what they've been doing. And, we know for a fact that Labor voters are disappointed with Labor on so many fronts,
I'm surprised at how many... First of all, I'm surprised that lots of people are Labor members to find that out. But this... I guess I've found that out because they've said I've relinquished or I've given up my membership because I'm so disappointed. And I mean, I'm struck. I often think, oh, you're a member. You pay. That's shocking to me. But I've only heard that because they're explaining that they've given it up. But I think there's been a really effective campaign, probably Labor and the Greens, to keep Dutton out. And in doing so, they are going to hand Labor a really strong majority. That's what we're on track. Which is actually at the moment the most pressing problem that we're facing as a country, because we won't move forward, really. And they'll be given a stronger kind of mandate, that they'll hear that as the country going, yep, we are happy that you didn't do the nature positive laws and you are signing off new gas projects and opening new coal projects, and you are proceeding with the shitty AUKUS deal that Scott Morrison signed, and proceed. Keep doing that. And
I think the main frustration with so many people I've spoken to is that ultimately they just see Labor not making good on, the promise of the party to be the party of the people and to put people first and to deal with things like housing and, they just see them making, deals with the Liberal Party and prioritising big business over people and...
Keeping people in poverty. Keeping people in poverty. I mean, at its base, you'd think that the Labor Party would at least deal with that and raise all Australians out of poverty, because they could make that decision straight away.
I think it's, I feel like, I don't know, I haven't got to speak to anyone since all of this happened because I've been in the office all afternoon, but I just want to be like, there are people out there who may want to vote independent and they're trying to scare you out of doing that on the threat of Dutton when that's actually currently not a threat.
No.
The biggest threat is, Labor having a bigger majority than they currently have, and all of these people who maybe wanted to vote independent and wanted to see some change and thought that, an independent voice would be a good outcome for them, get scared into not voting that way.
Very effective by Labor. Very waste of opportunity for everybody else.
If they, pay attention to it. But also, I think it's just... The big takeaway for me the last few days is this is just all the parties doing what parties do, playing politics.
Exactly.
Scare campaigning, I don't know, like literally inventing fallacies about who you are and what you stand for, and like kind of dealing in hypotheticals that aren't grounded in reality, that aren't like actually connected to people's real lives. And all of that is going to like coalesce potentially into a scenario where, you know,
We just hand it
none of
straight
the
back
things
to
that need to
Labor.
get dealt with get dealt with.
Yeah. And it struck me as well that many of those people are absolutely kind of dogmatically not open to hearing anything that you say. Or they hear what you're saying, but it's not the words that you're saying. You know, they've already made their mind up and they just want to annihilate you because you are not doing it the way they want you to do it, or wearing the right coloured t-shirt, or participating in this project of politics in the way that they want you to do. And that, it's really gross. It's actually turned so many people in the past few weeks into quite anti...
Party people.
Party people, yeah. Who previously they would have been quite supportive and participatory in that regime.
Final words on the situation? What's your like final, well, not final because we're going to be talking for the next 24 hours, but what, just reflecting on this scare campaign that's now gone up and just the situation as it is, what's your like final kind of, what would you say, I suppose, to a Labor voter who actually maybe thinks they might like to vote for you?
Well, I think consider that your vote is a vote of confidence or no confidence in the person you're voting for, you know, and I think I can't imagine how many people are just completely thrilled and stoked with the leadership and the government that we've got and the outcomes that we're getting. So don't endorse it with your vote, you know. And, you know, we went to a Palestine talk last night, and that's something that's just been completely taken off the agenda. You know, in Parliament, people aren't talking about the fact that there's this enormous war happening, and people are starving to death and being starved. And no one's talking about it, you know, and that's huge. It's kind of unconscionable. And we need to have people in government who are talking about the stuff that the community really cares about, and something like that. The fact that, you know, fortunately there are senators who are speaking about the great gas rort, but, you know, we just need more voices talking about this stuff so it becomes more weighty on the agenda, and then stuff changes. Laws change, policies change, things are influenced in a better way. Otherwise, if they're not spoken about, they're just swept under the rug. So I think that, for so many communities, having an independent voice representing them is absolutely the best outcome for them. And many communities don't have the option of a community independent. So it's really bloody good when you do, and I would suggest anyone who's got a community independent running to give them your number one vote, and then put the other parties behind them. Because even just doing that, even if they don't get enough votes to win, that's a really huge endorsement for them and the movement, and it really sends a message to the major parties. I mean, also, the Libs are like running themselves right into the bottom of the pit, aren't they? So they've got no hope currently. We've just now, it feels like clear and present danger is Labor. We've got to break up the system in a really productive and fantastic, happy, heartfelt way.
So that's it. It was an eventful day. Hate from every corner, but a lot of love from the people.
The hate has really united the team and the volunteers, and we're getting so many messages from people that are quite chuckly about it and almost proud that we've driven the three major parties to this behaviour, you know?
Yeah.
It's an endorsement.
Yeah. And the community's loving you, and it's exciting time to be
Yeah.
participating in democracy.
To be alive. It's a great time to be an independent, tell you that.
Speaking of which, I mean, I kind of hit the segue too late, but I was going to say, great time to participate.
We've got one more day pre-poll, but then on election day, Saturday, we've still got slots.
Clearly we need help because we can barely form sentences. So please, you listeners, if you hate the major parties like we do.
We hate what they've
We hate
delivered.
the system. Yeah. Full of perfectly fine people, I'm sure.
Fine people, but we need to change some stuff. There's kind of 3 key areas. There's the very early Saturday morning setting up a booth. Don't have to talk to anyone, but you have to run around and carry stuff. So consider that useful if you've got a car. Then there's the full day of 3-hour slots of just standing. Hello, would you like a how to vote card for independent? Got any questions? Do you need a hand? That's 8 till 6 p.m. 8:30 till 6 p.m. 3-hour slots. Quite fun if you do it with a friend. So come on. And then 6 till 10 p.m. latest is the scrutineer slot.
Yeah.
That is when you go in a room after the ballots have closed and you can't touch anything. That sounds like a weird thing to say, but you have to stand with your hands next to you and watch the Electoral Commission staff sort the ballots out and put them in the right piles. And you're just looking to make sure they're putting them in the right piles and trying to count a little bit and send text back to us to say, at this booth, you've got lots of votes. And at the last election, we'd won every vote, every booth. Every booth bar one, we had the most number one.
The volunteers,
votes.
I mean, it was such an electric day and it will be again, I'm sure. It's a really fun time. Please come and help. And you'll get an invite to the party if you come and work on election day.
In exchange for your help, you get to come and hang out with us.
So that's happening on the website, www.katefremantle.com.
What the heck?
What?
Just the www part.
Okay, cut that. katefremantle.com.
Oh my God.
Sign up.
Go
Forgive me.
on to
Please forgive
google.com.
me.
When you've got that up, then in the box, write www.
I mean, some people will need that level of assistance, to be honest. Like and subscribe wherever you're listening. I think we need to wrap this up before we completely lose the plot, which has happened a long time ago. So thanks for listening. Oh my God. And we said final episode, but maybe you'll get a bonus one to listen to on your way to the polls on Saturday morning.
Wow.
Who knows?
Wow. Huge.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for 25 days of listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.